And yes, we are recording this. And I'm Lisa Shu, and I'm joined by Isaiah in our work with Open Homes KW. Each of our groups has a similar desire to see newcomers to Canada find a place to stay in a Canadian home. And tonight we are going to be exploring a topic related to our first session. May 9th, we talked about hosting in our homes, and based on surveying all the participants that evening, we learned that people would like to know a little bit more about how do guests feel about staying in a home with a Canadian host. And with that in mind, tonight, we are going to be exploring that topic. We have 3 guests with us tonight. They each have a very unique story. And we've already kind of set the scene with our poll question, but I have another question for you to think about too. What would it be like if you landed in a new location with a different language? And when you arrived there, you found out that the hotel accommodations or the Airbnb that you booked, all of those arrangements had fallen through, and you were left to find some kind of accommodation, but you didn't have the language. As you think about that, think about how the guests who are joining us tonight might have felt as they arrived in Canada and what it might mean for them to stay in a Canadian home. Tonight, we want you to have a thoughtful insight in what that's all like. And at the same time, we want to respect the security of the guests who are joining us. So you might notice that in some of our interviews, the cameras are black. And that is, again, just for the security of our participants. If you have questions during tonight's presentation, you can go to the chat, and where it says everyone, if you click right on everyone, you'll see a list of all the people that are participating tonight. And we would like you to, if you have questions, address them to Danielle. She's going to collect all of our questions at the end. And we will answer those questions to round out our webinar tonight. I think that's all we have as far as introductory remarks. Thanks for keeping yourselves muted. And I'm going to turn it over to Isaiah from Open Homes KW, and he is going to introduce our first guest.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, everyone. I see his name, but I can't quite see him. So I'm excited tonight that I get to interview my friend Desale. So Desale actually lived with me October 2018 till April 2019. So it's about 3 years ago now. At the time, I was living in a community house in Kitchener. There was 4 of us sharing a house, and we welcomed Desale to live with us for about 5 or 6 months. So I won't go into more details about that, but since Desale lived with me, we've remained good friends. We see each other for coffee once a month, and he recently welcomed his family here to Canada. So Desale, thanks so much for agreeing to be with us tonight. I realized that tonight's actually the first time I've seen your face on the internet. I've always just seen you in person. So it's sort of it's a reverse experience from COVID the last couple of years. So anyways, welcome Desale, and we're just excited to hear about your experiences. So the first question I have for you, so over 3 years ago, when we first invited you to live with us on Cherry Street, which is the street we lived on, what made you say yes when we invited you to live with us? Oh, and just remember to unmute yourself.
Sorry, yeah, no, it's okay. First, thank you to give me this opportunity to share my story with all my friends, like I could say family. Anyway, it is a good time for me to to say yes, because first I need to find somebody to invite me before I say yes. Already before you say to me, yes, you could come to live with us, I already am searching for a person who could allow me to stay with him. But I'm not expecting actually to find a family or a people to invite me to stay with them for that much time. I'm not expecting that much, but because only I expect here, when you come here, you have to struggle with a new life. But it is hard by that time for me because I don't know anything. I'm a newcomer by that time. Even I don't know the directions. Where is west, where is north, where is east. So for a person who had that much confusion to find a family or a group of people to invite me to live with them, that is for me safe in life. It's not easy. There is no word that makes me to say yes, because I find a person, oh, come on, we will save your life. I compare with that.
Thanks,
So,
Tasale.
yeah.
Thank you. When you're going into a new situation and moving into our home, there can be some fears or concerns that come up. It's natural. It's a new situation. So when you first moved in, did you have any fears or concerns about living with Canadians?
Yeah, there is a lot of fears. Actually, first, if a person invites you, you have to expect to cope up with or to compete with the life already he is living. For example, the culture, the race, the attitude. I don't know. I live in a different culture, in a different background, in a different community, So I don't know how the Canadian communities live. Even the Western, for me, maybe I could expect some gap between the Western and my back home, So how I could live with them? Yes, I find the place, but how I will live in a peaceful, how I could agree with them, because I don't know when they sleep, when they wake up. I don't know what they eat, the food, the attitude, the culture, the race, everything that makes me fear for it, But after, when they start this, that makes me easy to live with them. Actually, before you are here, I don't want to mention everything in front of you, but you with your friends, that provides for me is unforgettable, because you understand my problem more than myself. You try to find a solution more than I try to solve my problem more than me, because I think when you saw me or when we are discussing about my story, something, you try to know or to figure out what I need. So that is very amazing time by that time, anyway.
You're making me
So
cry a little bit.
the fear and the result, then there's a difference. I fear a lot, but when I came with you, the fear goes within some days. Then I forget about the fears.
I'm wondering, thanks to Sally, I'm wondering on like a practical level, like on details. Did you have any questions before moving in, things that you were specifically unsure about? You talked about when we wake up, when we go to bed, what we eat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I had questions, so, okay, they invite me, but how how they will treat me and how I will communicate with them. You know, sometimes you could fear, you know, you could provide some questions. You have to solve the questions before you meet somebody new, you know. So, oh, how could I communicate with them? The topics, the way of communication. Even sometimes I don't know how the Westerners speak loud, or you know, there is stories in our country, some Western countries, there are no noise. Sometimes they speak slowly with no noise, you know. So for example, if I'm trying to call to my family or something, if I make some noise, I could feel something. So you could have some questions with yourself. With myself, you know, I find a lot of questions. Okay, I will go in the first day, so I will observe them, how they live, then I will try to find ways how to live with them. Yeah.
I'm wondering, in your experience living with us, obviously you had a place to stay for about 5 months, a place to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
But were there any other benefits about living with us beyond simply a place to live?
Financially, even you know, there is a lot of benefits. Everything, you know, first you could not worry to find a house in the first time, because you don't know how to find a home. You have no enough money to pay the amount of the rent if you come here as a newcomer. You know, you don't have money. You know, you have to buy clothes, you have to buy foods, you have to pay the rent. So I could not afford by that time. You know, so it helps me to stand, to see the whole directions, to know the system of the Canadian system. You know, it's good time for me without work in the first, especially 2 months, to apply a lot of my applications. You know, if I came and right away start work, I could not apply all the documents that I need: health card, social insurance, PR, whatever, a lot of applications. So, you know, I could not get time. But in the 2 months, I didn't need more money to pay, because the rent is free, some food also is free, a lot of things I get from you. So it is a good time for me.
You've already talked about what some of your expectations were and what your experiences were.
Yeah.
But with these kinds of things, there are always surprises that happen. Was there anything that happened when you lived with us that was a surprise, either good or bad?
I think it's good. It's a good one, because I know how you treat me. First, my expectation is a little bit different. Even you invite me to live with you. So when I live with you, my expectation is very low, but I surprise a lot by the way you treat me, because I consider you like my family. You know, you could ask me about my family all the time. Did you call to your family? Yes. So I get friends or families to share my story, because I have no any friend or family here. So you need somebody to talk or to tell your story. So even one day, you know, if you remember, with the Fido company, with my cell phone company, you know, there was a problem. Almost they told me to pay 800, almost 800, 700 something. It's not my fault, you know, but a message comes to me right away after 3 weeks. You have to pay 700 something by overcharging, or I don't know. So I had no money by that time. for whom I have to ask. I tried to ask by myself, but I could not find solution. But when I share my problem with you, if you remember, you told me, Desal, no problem. We will go together to the store, then we will talk to the staff who work there, and they give us the number. If you remember, you called by yourself. Then the customer service told us, you have to pay 700 something, but you have to wait after 5 days to meet you, somebody from the president of the company, something like that. But the problem was from them, it's not from me. But if I do not have friends, for example, who knows the system, I could pay the 700 something if I had money, or I could say I will pay them by plan, but they will overcharge me in a credit. I could live in a credit. I didn't have $100 by that time, but in 3 weeks they told me to pay 779 something. So there is a lot of things that I got from you, from my expectation.
Thanks to Saleh. Yeah, that sense of wider community and friendship, not just housing, that can come through hosting. So I just have 2 more questions for you because our time is running a bit short here.
Okay.
So it was about 3 years ago that you moved out of our house. And we know that people in open homes, guests, when they try to find long-term housing, it can be difficult. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like finding housing after you moved out of our home?
Yeah, in the first year, actually, you tried to help me to find houses in a low prices. We did also, we find one house, but I could not go there because it's a little bit far. But already I had a lot of experience about how to find a house, how to live, how to work. Already the 6 months are enough time for me to have some money, to know how to work, to know how to find the houses, So 6 months is not, maybe it could be few in number, but in experience, there are a lot. So it's okay for me. It's enough time for me to find, then I could live very peaceful. I could stand by the money that I save. I could very happy by the knowledge that I get from you and from other communities by living with you. Because if you remember, the person I live in the past 2 years is already you. When I asked him, the person already you, that you know me. So that's why he let me to live with him. So it was a good experience for me to know you, Isaiah, with your friends. So in front of all the guys, I want to say thank you for you also.
Thank you, Desale. So we have one last question for you.
Okay.
There are people who are on this call tonight and who will watch this video after who want to be hosts, who want to host people.
Yeah, okay.
What do you want them to know about what it's like to be a guest? Is there anything else you would like new hosts to know about what it's like being a guest in someone's home?
Yeah, actually, it is like a comment, but already the host people, they know because they come here or they are willing to know the stories because they try to understand how a newcomer is worried or become in a bad condition if he could not find a house, So actually, I could say thank you for the people who are trying to host guests, but most of the time, guest is like what do you call it? If you host a guest, there is something blessings for the person who hosts, and it's a life for the person who is hosted. I could say like that. Because if you don't know the language, if you don't know the culture, if you don't know the system, it's like you are living in open air. You could be homeless. You could be lose your morality, your confidence, everything. You could lose your direction. Even, you need a person to sit with you to discuss about the system, the country, the culture, everything, So it's not easy to find a host or a person to invite in his home. It's like safe life. Because some people, they don't know the language. Some people, they have no experience. Because, for example, if I try to tell you my story in my back home, there is some people, they don't know the English. Even they don't know how the culture of the Western, because they not watch TV, everything, It's some people, they don't know how to Google, how to find directions. So it's a matter of life. I could conclude with that. So I could inspire us for the new people, try to give homes for some months or for some days. Only I could inspire them to continue or to invite more people. Even I hope I am also in the future to be like you.
Thank you, Jasale.
That's a beautiful way to end things, Dasali. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your thoughts, and just great to have Isaiah and Dasali together and just see how that relationship unfolded, and then it became more than just a place to stay. Danielle, over to you and your guest.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Steenwijk-Rowan. I'm based in Hamilton, as Lisa mentioned earlier. And today I'm going to be interviewing a former guest of Open Homes Hamilton named Fabian. And he's going to share in Spanish, which is his first language. He's from Colombia. And another current guest is going to be interpreting for him. So thank you so much for joining us today, Fabian. Muchas gracias.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches a todos.
Good
Un placer
night,
saludarlos.
Good night.
Just remember, Fabian, to share your responses in small chunks so that the interpreter can share.
Por favor, contesta sus preguntas cortas para poder interpretarlas.
Ok, está bien.
I'll start with the first question then. I know your situation was a bit unique. What was appealing to you about coming to a host home? Why did you say yes?
¿Qué fue lo que te atrajo de ser huésped en una casa de acogida? ¿Qué te hizo decir que sí?
Mi familia primero arribó a Canadá. De mi familia primero llegó a Canadá mi esposa Paula. Para nosotros fue demasiado temeroso porque no conocíamos a nadie en Canadá, no teníamos el idioma. Aparte veníamos de una situación muy estresante y delicada en Colombia. Y pudimos contactar con Open Homes, y al momento que mi esposa logró hablar con las líderes del programa de Open Homes en Hamilton, ella se sintió muy a gusto y muy confiada por la calidez humana que le transmitieron.
Okay. My wife converted me to Canada. So it's most like a scared because we don't know any persons and we can't ask to somebody. So she contacted Open Homes, and at that moment they can start with his life more, better.
Thank you, Fabian. Was there anything you wanted to add? I know I told you to keep your responses short. I want to give you a chance.
¿Hay algo más que quieras compartir o alguna otra pregunta que tengas?
Desde mi familia estamos muy agradecidos con Open Homes por toda la ayuda que nos han participado y nos han brindado, porque siempre han sido un apoyo muy importante para nosotros en poder establecernos en este nuevo país, teniendo en cuenta que no contamos con el idioma del inglés, y toda la comunidad de Open Homes siempre nos ha apoyado y nunca nos ha dejado solos en todos los pasos que hemos alcanzado en este país, Canadá.
We are really grateful with Open Homes because it's our like special compromise with you, because you help us. Yeah, because you help us when we come to Canada.
Thank you, Fabian. We are so glad to have met you too. So your wife arrived first and then you arrived later. Did you have any fears or concerns when you were coming about living in a host home with strangers?
Tu esposa vino primero y luego viniste tú. ¿Tienes algún... Can you repeat the question, Daniel, please?
Sure. Did you have any fears or concerns about living in a host home with people you didn't know?
¿Tenías algún miedo o algo parecido por vivir con personas que tú no conocías?
En Colombia mi familia sufrió una persecución muy fuerte, por lo tanto perdimos la confianza en las personas. Mi esposa estaba a punto de dar a luz y para nosotros era muy difícil poder confiar en alguien para hospedarnos. Teníamos miedo, susto, pero dice mi esposa que apenas habló con los líderes de Open Homes, ella sintió una energía muy bonita y muy cálida y muy agradable que le hicieron confiar. Y algo muy importante para nosotros es que la organización de Open Homes se basa mucho en el amor que Jesucristo le brinda a las personas, y eso pues nos hizo sentir nuevamente como en casa y creer que había una nueva oportunidad para nosotros.
We were very afraid because in Colombia we don't have the best situation in our country, so we were afraid when my wife called to Open Home. When she contacted to Open Home, she really trusts in your work, because they don't have the best situation in Colombia, so it's difficult when you can trust in some people that you don't know.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. The things you faced in your home country broke your trust in people, and so it was scary to trust again, but we're glad you did. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead.
Estamos felices de que hayas podido volver a confiar, pues que hayas confiado en la fundación. Sabemos que no tuviste lo mejor en tu país, en Colombia, pero estamos agradecidos de que hayas podido volver a confiar en nosotros.
Muchísimas gracias a Open Homes y a todos sus líderes, en especial a Daniel y a Katie, que siempre han estado con nosotros acompañándonos en todas nuestras etapas en este hermoso país.
Thank you very much to Open Homes, especially to Daniel, because every time you are help us, and every time you are help every that I need or something our family need.
Thank you. Fabian, Open Homes is more than a place to stay. Were there other benefits in staying in a host home other than having a roof over your head?
open homes es más un lugar para estar. Daniel, can you repeat the last part?
Sure, no problem. Were there other benefits to being in a host home other than just having a place?
¿Algún beneficio que hayas tenido por vivir en una casa anfitriona?
Sí, no, los beneficios fueron muchos, pero pudimos estar con una familia muy amable que nos brindó apoyo, nos brindó una oportunidad, nos hizo parte de su familia. Incluso todo Open Homes nos ayudó a encontrar el lugar donde actualmente estamos viviendo. Pudimos encontrar un apartamento gracias a la ayuda y al apoyo de Open Homes.
We are really grateful with the family. They are really gentle with us, and yeah, the benefits, they help us to find an apartment that we live now. So they are really grateful with you, with Open Homes.
One last question, Fabian. We have many new hosts on the call. Is there anything you would want them to know about being a host and about being a guest?
¿Hay algo que tú quieras saber sobre nosotros o sobre la fundación que te puedan ayudar?
Nosotros, todo lo que nos mostró Open Homes fue maravilloso. Incluso nos apoyaron en nuestra boda, nos apoyaron en el baby shower de nuestro hijo, corriendo, siempre la calidez humana. Hicieron todo lo posible para que nos sintiéramos a gusto y muy felices en este país. Creo que no es tanto que si quisiera que Open Homes me ayudara o me siguiera ayudando, sino que con nuestra familia estamos dispuestos a aportar lo que sea necesario para ayudar a la organización, para que otras personas reciban un trato igual o mejor que el que nosotros recibimos.
So we are really grateful with Open Homes. They help us with our wedding and with our baby shower. Yeah, it's a word in English. So more than you can help us, we want to help to other people now because we can do it. So it's good if we can help with you. Just tell me if you need help to something.
Muchas gracias, Fabián y Luna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gracias a todos, un abrazo y que Dios los bendiga siempre.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Gracias, Fabián, por compartir tu historia. What a beautiful story of trust after a long journey of being in a situation where there weren't people to trust. And wow, that's just really, really inspiring to see how those first days in a new country can be made so much better by having trusting relationships. So thank you, Fabian and Luna. Allison, it's time for you to share your guest with us.
Hello. Yeah, I would like to introduce Ali. Ali came to Canada less than a year ago from his home country in Central Africa. And when he arrived, he stayed with a family in Hamilton, a mom, dad, I think 4 young children, and 1 dog, and maybe a cat. I'm not sure, Ali. I think there was a cat too. But yeah, Ali did not speak, I think, only a handful of words of English when he arrived less than a year ago. So I'm pretty impressed that he's going to do this interview tonight in English and share some of his experiences with us.
So,
oh, sorry, Ali, go ahead.
yes, hello, my name is Ali. I am from Africa Center, and I'm so glad today to introduce myself to you, and I'm so happy and nice to meet you all. and I'm so happy to share my experience that already I have here. I came to Canada. I have been 8 or 9 months ago, and when I arrived to Canada, it's so worse. And when you go in somewhere and you don't know what to do and where you want to go and where you can go to find a place. But thank God I got the opportunity to meet with a big house. I can say open home. And uh, and after that, when I arrived to Canada by accident, I met with open home, especially with some friends from my back home. And after that, they said to me, you have to go and to stay with one family, big family, and in this family they have uh, kids. And like you said, we have a dog, we have a cat too, and everything's strange to me. And yes, that's I can share with you today. And if you have a question, you can ask me, and I try to answer you.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a few of the same questions that we asked the other guests, Ali. When you first heard about this idea, when you were invited to come and live with a family, what made you say yes? What made that seem like a good option for you?
Yes, in the first time when I heard you by Daniel, thank you a lot for her. She told me you have to go and stay with a new family, and that is the solution for you to have a peace in this area. And me also, I don't have a choice. That's the first thing came in my mind. And
Mhm.
after that, I think about it, and after that, I said that is opportunity to get chance to meet with new people, to start to learn new language, English, and also to know about the culture, to know about how to live here, because everything is different in my back home. And that's the things I said I can say what I can sacrifice for this time, and that way I accept to go and live with them. And after that, I I knew many things with them, and I'm so glad to know them. Yes.
Can I just clarify one thing, Ali? When you said you had no other choice or you had no choice, I think you
Yeah.
meant like no one was forcing you to go to that home, right? But
Yes.
but
Yes.
you
Of course.
but you I think what you were saying is there were no other choices of a place
Yes,
you could
for
go.
example, like I am in the desert. I am in the desert, and nowhere I can see. And when I got one place like peace, and after that try to go with this family. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I am blind. I am blind.
the options were so few that there was
Yes, yes,
yeah,
that's the first thing. And
yeah.
the second thing I said, I can get opportunity to know English and to make a friends and
Mhm.
to have a good idea in this new place for me to live. Yeah.
Yes. And you said like the culture is very different, your home culture and what you've experienced here now. What were some of the questions that were going through your mind? Some of the concerns that were going through your mind before you got to meet the family, before you moved in?
Yes, of course. Before I meet them, a lot of questions come in my mind, and the first thing I can say, how can I be with them to understand them? How can I speak with them? How can I live with them with new food, different for my country, with new culture, and also different uh, religion? different mentality, different color, many things. And after that, I think about this, and I said I can go to meet with them, and if I saw them, they are very friendly. I can decide to stay with them. But I when I went with the first time with Daniel, we she introduced me to them, and I saw them. Wow, that's amazing family, and they can in their face. I saw they are very friendly and very helpful, and I never what I can say regret. Yeah.
So what were some of the surprises or some of the cultural differences you encountered there?
Yes, like for example, in my back home, we can eat with a woman. For example, in my religion, also in my culture, the woman can stay other side, and the men also can stay other side to eat. And here there is a different culture, and I have and or I must to follow their culture, and I see many things different. And also with live with dog also, that's first time to live, and in the beginning it's so hard and it's so difficult, but with patience and with a good idea, positive idea, and I got easy for me, and now I got a good chance to have many things. Yes.
So there were a lot of firsts for you. It sounds like
Yes.
there was your first time to eat with women around the table,
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
time to
yes.
live with a dog, many first experiences with
Yes.
host home.
Yes.
Maybe we'll just finish with this same question we have asked the others, but what would you say? Well, actually, I want to back up. I want to ask you just the one about what were some of the benefits for you beyond having a safe place to live? So you've said it was a good home, it was a safe place, a good option, but what were some of the other benefits you experienced?
Yes, like already said, the other benefits is a lot, and it's not just to have the place to live in the peace, but it can give you chance to build the new mentality, to get the opportunity to speak English, and also to make friends and to know how to do in this new place, and also many things like for example when I arrive here by Daniel and my family, they try to help me to get many things like even the number phone number, the direction, like my friend Saleh already said, you don't know where the east, where the west, you don't know how to go to shop, and you don't know everything. And also like Daniel, when I arrived here, also she helped me to find to change my drive license, and now I have a G full for a drive license here. Also, that's many things to have with the family. Yes.
What about the presence of the children there? How did you find
Yes.
having more children in the house?
Yeah, yes, of course. Have be with the kids is also helped a lot to relax and talk with them, because the old person, they're very busy, and you can get a chance to speak with them, to try to practice your English, and also to have like a relaxation and relaxation, and that way is also helpful for the person when is arrive in new place, and they think a lot, but when with kids you can think about other things, you just try to discuss with them and to be happier.
That's great, thanks. Last question. What would you want to say to any new hosts who are listening, people who are thinking about becoming a host? What do you want them to know?
Wow, that's a pleasure to me. I can tell them the first thing, that's a big chance to them. And I said the big chance, it means a lot of things they will have to, they will get. They will try to have, first of all, the place to live, and also they try to connect with this new culture, and also they can know a lot of things about the life here in this new place. And also I want to tell them, please be patient. That's life, and also every problem has solution. And with a patient, you will succeed in this new area. Like I said, like you are in desert and you don't know where the place then to go. And now we have the place. Donc, that way I tell them that's the big chance, and you have to catch this chance with a good hand or two hands. Yeah, I can say yes. And also you have to follow the rules when you can go, when you go to the family. You have to respect them very well, and they also, when you respect them, they can respect you, and they can give you more things, and more things. Yes, when you respect them, when you follow the rules, and also when you are good with them, you can have many things, and they can tell you. And without that, I think it would be difficult to stay with new people, because they don't know what is your culture, and you also, you don't know what's their culture. And that's the opportunity for you to share your culture and to have new culture. And also they also, the family also, they will have chance to know about others culture and how the other live in this life. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful.
Thanks, Ali. I think that you've made a wonderful start in your English language learning. And I think most of us are pretty jealous right now that in 9 months, you've learned to speak English as well as you have. Thank you. That was very brave of you to share in your
all, and nice to meet you all personally here. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all our guests and our translator who came tonight. Wow, those were just such inspiring stories. And we just really appreciate the time that people took to think deeply about these questions. And to our 3 folks who interviewed, thank you very much for making that story of what it's like to be a guest in someone's house with you. You've never met them before, just come alive. Danielle, I know some people have been posting a few questions, and we want to give an opportunity to have some of those questions answered. So I'll pass that to you.
Thanks, Lisa. So I'll start with the questions that have already been written in the chat. But if you have more questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, or even to use the hand raise feature if you'd like. And I'll try to keep an eye out for it. So I'll start with the ones in the chat. Richard asked about home insurance. He's following up on a question from the last webinar we did. So thanks for tuning in for both, Richard. He's wondering if he needs to tell his home insurance company that he has a guest in his home, even if it's just for 6 months. And I'll just answer that one, Richard. Yes, definitely do that. Just to be sure that you've crossed every T and dotted every I. So if something does happen, like a guest falls on the stairs or something, that you are covered and that they don't have a way to avoid providing support in areas that should be covered by your insurance. So it's just best practice to do that. I hope that's helpful. Louise also asked, were there any misunderstandings when you moved in? I wonder, Desale, if you'd be willing to answer that question. Feel free to say no. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
It's for me.
If you're willing, yeah. Were there any misunderstandings when you moved into Isaiah's house?
Misunderstanding. Oh, so the way that I expect and the way it stays there. What do you mean like that, or the misunderstanding? What do you mean?
Sure, yeah, like maybe cultural things that were so different that you maybe had a little bit of not conflict, but some questions or problems at the beginning.
Yeah. The misunderstanding is I am not expecting that much, the misunderstanding. Already I understand something. Right? As a human being, you could expect something, but if the expectation and the reality are a very big gap, that is the misunderstanding with me. Maybe, we have a lot of experience how to host a guest, but I am not expecting in the Western, which means already I know the Western is individualism. People, they live individually. They are so busy. Something like that, I could not expect to find in the Western, in a very busy life, to get a person to invite in his home to direct or to tell you the direction of the whole system or life. I'm not expecting that much. Even to get a house within a family, it's not easy. For example, in our country, we could live 6, 7, or even 10 people in one room or 2 rooms. It's still normal. It's not abnormal, but here to live 2 people in one room is almost, it reaches abnormal. I'm sleeping with my sisters, with my cousins in one bed, with the ladies. It's normal. Well, it's not common, but so until you grow up, the lads and the boys and the girls, they could sleep, if they are brothers, they could sleep, brothers and sisters, they live in one bed. So you could expect a lot. You could not expect, because you could see, there are people, they live individually. They are so busy. They have no time, not only for others, they have no time for themselves. So if you expect like that, but if you got a person could invite or kill his time or their time to help or support you, this is, I was in the wrong understanding about the community. You could say like that. I hope I try to answer the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Desale. And it makes me think too about landlords when you're applying for those long-term apartments who might not understand cultural things and might say like 5 people in a 2-bedroom is too much, but many of our guests know that in their cultures that is just fine. So there are misunderstandings sometimes with potential landlords too, aren't there?
Yeah, it's a lot of problems in a lot of apartments. For example, if I try to apply for 2-bedroom, I have to have 3 people only with my child. Something. If we are 4, the apartments or the buildings, they are not let the person to enter or to get chance to get a rent or in the apartment. So there is a lot of problems, but that's why I'm also sometimes I am fear how I could live with the people who have the culture of individualism and something like that.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And that's kind of a teaser for our next webinar too, which Lisa will mention in a minute. I think we have time for one more question. If anybody wants to even just unmute your mic and share a question, and then I'll help you direct it to the right person.
It's Louise. And just as follow up to misunderstandings, were there any things that you had thought that the host would be doing for you that they didn't? that they didn't realize?
That's a great question. Ali, are you still here?
Yes,
Did you hear that question?
I can answer the question.
Okay, go ahead, Ali.
Yes, for example, when I came and I stay with the family, they give me some rules. For example, you can listen the video at midnight because the kids they are sleeping. That's also the rules. And also you can after use the stuff for kitchen, you have to clean them and to put them in the same place, and you have to be clean every things you use it, and also you have to clean your room to stay to clean also the what I can say when you use the washroom, and you have to do all things in the right way. Yeah, that's the things you have to do. And for example, if you want to go outside, also you can go, but you can come late, for example, to bother them. And also, as you know, we have a family back home, and when you use your phone, for example, you have to use with respectful, because when you talk a lot with the phone, also you bother them because they are sleeping, and that's the something I knew already. Yet.
Right. So
I
those
think
were
I
the house
answered the
rules.
question.
Let me ask a follow-up question. Were there things that you expected from your hosts that were different? Maybe cultural things that a host in your culture might offer a guest that is different?
Yes, for example, if you don't know something, don't touch it. First of all, you can ask them before do it something, because many things is different from our country, and when you will touch it and you will get something bad, that it will be not safe for your life and not as good for the home. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there were some things that were for them that weren't for you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So kind of even different cultural understandings around sharing and property can come up.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sharing,
sure.
but property. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ali. That's really helpful. I'll
One
pass
more-
it off to Lisa then.
Can I ask just one more question?
I think we can squeeze that in. Go for it.
Did you get a key right away to the house?
Fabienne, would you like to answer that one? ¿Recibiste una llave para la casa?
Sí, claro. ¿Cómo así? Perdón, una llave acá. No entendí.
Sorry, maybe Luna, you can try. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. So can you repeat the question?
I can repeat. Did Fabian get a key to the house right away? And did he understand how important it was to lock the house? And he couldn't give the key to everybody else or anybody else.
¿Recibiste la llave de la casa? Daniel, I have a question. Which house? So, ¿qué casa?
They're talking about the host house, la casa de la anfitrión.
Okay. So,
Eso era lo que no entendía.
Okay.
Yo sí decía, pero ¿cuál casa? El anfitrión no tenía llaves, él tenía código en la puerta y él nos otorgó el código de la puerta. Entonces siempre teníamos a disposición la casa como si fuera un hogar de nosotros. Hicimos una buena compañía con ellos y siempre una confianza mutua y todo marchó perfectamente entre los anfitriones y nosotros.
Okay. Yeah, they don't receive a key because the door has a password. So the hoster gives the the password and they can enter to the home with a password.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you both.
You're welcome.
Lisa, over to you.
Once again, everyone, thank you for coming. And we wanted to let you know that if you missed the first session, you can go on the Open Homes Hamilton site and see the link for the first session. And then we will be posting a link for tonight's session as well. And we look forward to presenting another webinar, and that will be on June 13th. And the theme of that was decided by the folks who attended the first webinar. They suggested a topic that was popular for a number of people on the webinar, and we are calling it the give and take of cultural relationships. And so we look forward to presenting that on June 13th. So we'll have some information sent to you as well as posted on our website, the Open Homes Hamilton website. And if you're someone who belongs to the Open Homes KW group, you'll also see it there. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and to our presenters and to the guests who offered time to be interviewed. We've really appreciated the insight into that and look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, everybody, and good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.